So here we are with our humanist mindset, and we think we have to resolve this in a way that we can understand the last detail of it. And only if we understand the last detail of it, we consider it true. And that is not biblical thinking, that is humanist, fallen human thinking. The Bible teaches both. The Bible teaches that God is sovereign and that man is fully responsible to God. Just because we cannot reconcile the two in our tiny minds, I hope you allow me to say this, just because we cannot reconcile the two in our tiny minds doesn't mean it isn't true. I'll give you some other examples. We say God is sovereign, and yet we evangelize. And I'm happy to say we evangelize, right? And so how is both true? Because if God elects, if God is sovereign, why do we evangelize? Those who are elect will be saved anyway. Or God's authorship of the human Bible. I often, when I speak with people, they will tell me, well, man wrote the Bible. I say, yes, what's with it? And then they're surprised. But don't you claim God wrote the Bible? I said, yes. And they say that's a contradiction. Well, it would be a contradiction if God wasn't sovereign. But since God's sovereign, His will applies to all things that happen in all of creation. Here is our problem. Our problem is that we think that only if we understand something, it's true. And I can prove you in a moment that this is not really so, and we do not even believe that for sure. We are not consistent in this, not even the world. Because if you go to, I don't know, Michigan State or the University of Michigan, Department of Mathematics, and you ask them about infinity, they have a sign for it. And you say, okay, do you calculate with infinity? They say, for sure. Well, then please explain infinity to me. Or if that's too hard, at least think it. Try to think infinity. Try to explain it. Try to grasp it. You cannot. Oh, here are 100 billion years. Oh, now you have 1,000 trillion years, and you're not closer to the end than you were at the beginning. You cannot resolve it. You cannot understand it. You cannot even imagine it, and yet you believe it. We have to understand that we deal with an infinite God. Finite creatures deal with an infinite God. Now that means that in our theology there must be a lot of mystery. Calvin said, finitum non capax infinitum. The finite never grasps the infinite. We know that. We would agree we cannot grasp God, otherwise we would be like Him and then He wouldn't be God. So kind of a vicious circle, right? So, because He's infinite and we are finite, our theology must be full of mystery.